talk about a couple things before the end of the series. We are currently on chapter 136, with three more to go: 137, 138, and 139. I just wanted to write down, or not write down, rather, but say my predictions for the end of the series before it happens, so I can kind of say, like, ha, I knew it. Um, so I don't know how far I'm going to be going in depth with this, just a couple minor things I wanted to say. So, starting off, one of the bigger things that I was hoping for, not hoping for, geez, that I predicted before I was going to read 137 was that one of three characters were going to die, because I was spoiled a little bit that someone will die in this chapter. And I had predicted either Zeke, Connie, or Levi. Um, I chose Zeke because Aaron has succeeded in his goal. I don't really see the Alliance stopping the rumbling, which is a whole different topic in of itself. And then him not living up to his goal of Grisha saying, "Please save the world. You need to stop Aaron." I think that'd be a really like AOT thing to do for him to not be able to live up to his goal. So I guessed him, as well as Connie, since his character arc's kind of finished up. There's not much left for him, even though I don't want Connie to die. It's just, if you're talking about a storytelling manner, it's the logical thing. And then as well as Levi. He, with his whole speech about, not speech, but talk about Erwin, the previous chapter about, like, is this what you all really wanted? Is this what you all devoted your lives to? We hoped for a utopian, idealistic world, and this is not it. It wouldn't have been worth it. It wouldn't have been worth your guys' lives if this is what it really was. And then he was saying, well, I do not regret picking Armin, the one who had the same shine in his eyes as you did. I feel like that was just a really huge death flag for him, as well as the fact he was just crying. And then my number one prediction was that it was Levi. And sadly, since this chapter has taken so long to come out, there have been leaks, but it's still been like days since the official chapter's come out, and it's still not out. It should be out by Tuesday at the least, the official one at least. And I guessed if I had to pick any one of those three, it would be Levi. And it turns out from spoils that have been given, it is most likely 100% Levi dies, which is just so crazy. The most popular character, this really big character, these entire 4 seasons, fan favorite, is just killed off. But we're going to need sacrifices. It's the end of the season. Big deaths are going to come into play, and Levi is a fitting one because, well, what exactly is the guy going to do, like, after the rumbling? He's lost everyone. He's lost his 2 friends. He lost Hanji. He lost Erwin. He just doesn't have anything left to live for, and I feel really bad for the guy. But I mean, it's fitting, because there would be no life for him past the rumbling, post-rumbling. So yeah, that was one thing I wanted to talk about. Poor Levi, though, man. So yeah, another big prediction I've had, which a lot of the community has kind of come to, but I've had it for a really long time, is the fate of Mikasa and Eren. So I would say Mikasa will be the one that'll die because of fate. And because the memories that we saw in chapter 1, the memories that have recently come up again of her saying, "I will see you later, Eren," as she's crying with the scarf around her. And a pretty well thought and put together theory on Titanfolk was put the other day that basically was, I should actually move this mouse out of the way here one sec. Was put together on Titanfolk the other day that was saying how Eren has been trying so long to get rid of fate and just to get away from it, but it's absolutely impossible. He just can't do it. He threw away the scarf of Mikasa. He saw that Mikasa was going to die in his future memories, and she had the scarf with her. So in every attempt he possibly could, he tried pushing her away. He tried throwing away the scarf, all to make it so that she wouldn't die. This was all for her and all for everyone's sake. It may have even been for Armin too. Armin may die, if that's what that whole fight was about. He was trying to push both of them away so they wouldn't die, which is really sad when you come to think about it. But another thing I saw was that there was this interview that Isayama had, I don't know when, but it's basically about him talking about how fans have had a lot of speculation, not speculation, but they've been talking about how it's common for male mangaka to write their characters to work against fate, while female mangaka try to work with fate. It's just a theme in their stories. Apparently, I don't know how true that is, but it was simply something that Isayama saw and thought was interesting. And so, since Isayama just loves throwing curveballs, I think since male mangaka are known to write against fate, he's going to go against that and say that this story is completely rooted in fate and there's nothing you can do to change that. So no matter how hard Eren tries to push Mikasa away, she will always come back. And that's what's going to happen. She somehow held onto the scarf, and this exact scene is going to play over again in the next chapter, or 138 and 139. I'm guessing the final chapter, but I'm honestly not too sure. I think it's sad, but I'm guessing Mikasa just gotta die because of the final scene with Eren. Possibly, it's not 100% confirmed, but Eren holding the child. So yeah, that's another big thing. Eren's true goals. It's become very apparent that he has no other choice. This responsibility laid upon, and he had no other choice but to go with it if he really wanted to save the people of Paradise or Paradise. And he didn't want to do this, but it was the only path available to him. He even mentioned at one point, we must have never found a way to keep Paradise alive without the rumbling. And so yeah, it's just pretty sad. I kind of lost my train of thought there. But yeah, so his true goals, I still think him or Ymir are trying to get rid of the Titans overall. I think a lot of this, at least a lot of the evidence for this, comes from the opening, the season 6 opening, My War. At the end, when Eren is escaping from the mound of Titans, the Titan shifters, possibly either grasping for freedom, which is the obvious one, or he's trying to escape from the curse of the Titans as the rest of the pile of Titans melts away. I'm trying to raise it with him. And plus, it's not going to be a happy world again if Marlene's eradicated, yet Titans are still a threat. We're going to turn each other eventually, even if it's Titans or not. People will keep fighting each other until there's one human or less, as Dot Pixis has said. So I want to say he wants to get rid of the curse of the Titans. I think that's going to be another big plot point coming up soon. And then also another minor thing, which is the reuniting of Marley and Eldia. Not that they're reuniting at all; they never once united. But with Secretary Muller and the Eldians at Fort Atlas, before Eren reaches there, if he will reach there, that is. The fact that Secretary Muller is suddenly saying, "I'm sorry, we shouldn't have treated the Eldians this way," and I don't know if that's just like a fight or flight response. Like, since this is all happening to them, they're like, "Oh no, we're so sorry about this. We didn't actually mean it," or if it's just some bad writing that basically is trying to get the two sides to unite at the end of the story for a happy ending, which I know it's not going to be a happy ending. As Usama said, it's going to be bittersweet. But I don't know. As the 136 left off, the Eldians and Marlians are holding each other at gunpoint. Secretary Muller comes out. I think in 137 we're going to see a uniting between the two. Not that it's going to do anything. They've got like a couple cannons. It's not going to do anything, but it really serves to show that the two are banding together as the end of the world comes. Which I don't know how I feel about that. It doesn't really live up to the whole hatred and darkness of AOT, but in the end, I feel like it's well deserved after all the hate. There needs to be some good moments. Some more things. Character deaths beyond Mikasa and Levi. Gosh, I just realized this are both Ackermans. Geez, the end of the Ackerman clan, really. I don't think we're gonna see Yelena or Kiyomi again. It's kind of weird how Yelena's character left off. Like, there wasn't really any closure for her. It was more of like, wow, we failed. And then the final thing she said was to Hanji, right? She was saying how Zeke's plan was the right one, right? That it was much better than what Eren's doing right now. And Hanji was like, yeah, I have to agree with you. It was the more solid plan. It was the better thing to do. And I agree with that. The euthanasia plan was not a good decision. You would kill an entire race of people. But if we're talking objectively, it's better than genociding the entire world. To let the aliens live a peaceful life than die out is more humane. It's the more humane option. So yeah, there's that. Overall, I totally bet there's some things I want to talk about that I'm just forgetting. I may come back and do another one of these. Um, but yeah, yeah, man, it's so sad to see a series ending. It's been such a crazy journey, and I really will miss it. But hey, I mean, all great things must come to an end, right? I don't want this series to go on for infinity just for money, stuff like that. That's not what I want. I want it to be a great story wrapped up in a tight bundle, in a tight, neat bundle, and I think that's kind of what this series is going for right now. I'm just hoping they don't mess up the ending, man. Oh, speaking of, that's probably the last thing I should finish off on. What do I think their ending will be? I think Aaron will succeed in the rumbling, as Minnie stated before. It's more likely for Aaron to win because we have not seen his perspective yet. We have 3 chapters left, and with a lot of Aaron's motives, and he's gonna have a talk with Mikasa and Armin. It's not gonna end off without that. They're gonna see each other again, somehow. And so they're gonna have a final reunion. But since we do not know Aaron's full perspective, it's been more and more likely for a rumbling victory. I don't think the Alliance is gonna win. A lot of major cities and a lot of people have been killed already by the rumbling. Killing the rumbling now, it would save the rest of the world, but it would be dealing so much damage still. It would by no means be a happy ending. And I just don't see there being an Alliance victory because of the final scene. The Aaron possibly holding the child and saying you were free. That's the thing too, is it's so blatantly obvious it seems. His story giving a child. The fact is Aaron saying you were finally free after the world is finally done for and Ellie is the only one left to live. Just so blatantly obvious. His story is having a child. Aaron saying that you are free, which is like a whole motto of his, like I am free, I am free. And the fact that being free will probably mean being free from the curse of the Titans, free from being a Titan in general, even though you're still Eldian, you cannot turn into one. And the fact that he's also maybe saying you are free, the fact that that person may also be the reincarnation of Ymir, which is ironic being that that was the person that, or the actual freckled Ymir we know. It'd be ironic for Historia to name her child Ymir, and for also to be the actual reincarnation of Ymir. It would make a lot of sense for him to say you are finally free from being a slave. As he puts it, you are reborn without having to fear the Titans, and it makes so much logical sense that that's what's going to happen, that it makes me almost think that's not what's going to happen. Because I really feel like Isayama wouldn't make something that obvious. Even though we're getting so close to the end, no matter how good of a writer you are, it's kind of hard to cover that kind of stuff up. I'm still confused as to why that image was given to us, like, what, 2 years ago now? Was that leaked, or did he put that out? Because was that supposed to throw us off? Or did he simply want to give us a teaser to the end of the series? I just don't know. So yeah, there's that. Again, I think the rumbling will succeed. I don't know if the entirety of the Alliance will live. There's going to be more deaths other than Levi and Mikasa, I feel like. Maybe Connie, and maybe Zeke. I don't know. As for how they're going to get back, it'd probably be on the back of Aaron or Falco. If anyone, I'd have to say Falco. They'd ride back to Paradis. They'd have to wait out the rumbling. Aaron would somehow come back. I don't know, maybe because his head's still kind of there, but it's like attached to the whole founder skeleton thing. So it's still weird the fact that he'd be able to hold the child and he'd be completely human again. And maybe that's what it is, and maybe we're all just misinterpreting it, but it just does not seem like he's still there in his human mortal body. So, yeah, I don't know about that. Again, there was another thing I was kind of spoiled on, that I kind of accidentally spoiled myself when I thought that the Raws that came out were the official chapter, when they were just a couple key panels with no text on them. It seems that I was first leaked that that Gabby was going to shoot something or someone. I thought it said someone, but after seeing this leaked panel of the dynamite on Earth Night being blown up, I think that Gabby shot the explosive somehow. It flipping amazing marksman, by the way. It's insane how good Gabby is at that stuff. It's pretty funny. But yeah, so I think that's primarily all I wanted to say. I think there's obviously a couple more things that I've forgotten, but I think that kind of sums it up. So yeah, I guess that's all. Thank you for listening to this. Hopefully this is preserved for a while. This is really something I want to cherish and just keep with me. May even be uploaded to YouTube so I can keep it there. I don't know what I'm gonna do. But yeah, so I'll see you later then.